Family, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. A lot of people on the first date, y'all already know to see the thumbnail and everything like that, right? On the first date, a lot of y'all come unprepared. And that's what's crazy, because if you go on a date, if you go on an interview, you want to be prepared when you go on an interview, right? So a first date is like an interview. You want to make sure that you're really prepared. And I'm gonna just give you one tip. This is how you are prepared when you go on your first date. Know what you want. That's really the key of essence of everything. Know what many of y'all go on dates and you don't even know what you really want. And you just got this whole buffet selection and keep on choosing the wrong person because you don't even know what you want.
Man, you are really encouraging me, motivating me, inspiring me. God is really using you to help me out, bro.
Family, you guys are so amazing. It's your boy, Mr. AOS Inspires and AOS the Podcast. I had to pause real fast to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Urban Pulse Podcast. They post everything black. I mean, everything black, right? They post the drama, they post inspiration, they post motivation, everything black that you can get your talk on, if you will. Urban Pulse Podcast, they post about it. We're sponsored by Urban Pulse Podcast, the true essence of everything black. I love them guys to life. You guys are so amazing. It's your boy, Mr. AOS Inspires. This is AOS the Podcast. I'm excited to bring you this edition of AOS the Podcast. We talk all things relationships, but we also talk about entrepreneurship and life. As I said before, we have some amazing guests that's on the premiere. We've recorded some guests that's amazing already, and we're going to put them on the platform real soon. Just give me a minute. I know a few people have been inboxes. I'm going to tell you why. I'm just give y'all just a quick breakdown real fast. So many people, I ain't gonna say so many people, right? I mean, we do got a couple thousand people following us, 11,000 to be exact. However, we just landed a new sponsorship. And the deal, it's not even a monetary deal right now. It's really just a support type of deal with Urban Pulse Podcast. They are amazing. Salute to my fellas at Urban Pulse Podcast. They are sponsored our podcast, and it's bananas how much of a reach they have allowed us to have, right? So everything we do, they promote anything, on the stories, on the page. As a matter of fact, go check out Urban Pulse Podcast right now. They talk about all things black, black drama, right? Gene Deal, he's been crazy big on it. But listen, go check that platform. They've been showing crazy love to us and everything like that. But the reason we have not had the guests aired yet, and we have some amazing guests. I mean, some dope people. Matter of fact, we have a few people that we haven't recorded yet. It's going to be real dope. I want to give you consistent content. I don't want to be, bald-headed with my content with the guests. Like, I really want them to be on, and I want them to show up every single Monday. And as a matter of fact, we had a conversation with the staff, and what we're doing is we're going to record, we're going to drop a new episode every single Monday with the guests. And the conversation that we have with the guests is crazy. 3 conversations that we're about to have in the next 2 weeks. One is the truth about the shoe plugs. I can't wait to have him on. Another one, this lady, she did 10 years in jail, right, from selling dope. And now she has exploded and done some great things in the entrepreneur field. I mean, listen, we got some dope stuff coming up, right? So just stay tuned. But today, what we're going to talk about this is what we're going to talk about. I want to share with you guys how to prepare or be prepared for your first date. Many of y'all are doing it all wrong. You're doing it backwards, right? And the reason I say you guys are doing it backwards is because too many of y'all are going up to bat, meaning you're going on these dates for no reason. You're just trying to hang out with somebody. Like, I'm being honest with you. I like to move with intentionality with everything that I do. I'm not saying that you got to do how I do, but what I do want to share with you is if you don't move with intentionality, you will always find yourself in a predicament of a person with the person. You're like, yo, what am I doing? Why am I with this person? Because you didn't do your due diligence in the beginning. I like to tell people, do your due diligence in the beginning, then you won't have to backtrack. And you may have to backtrack because every single pitch don't get a hit, right? Let's really be honest. Every time that you think that you have selected, many of y'all think that you're in a relationship and you think that you selected right and you didn't. right? So let's really be honest. Sometimes we get it wrong. We think that we got it right, but we don't. But one of the key foundations, I said in the introduction, one of the key foundations is knowing what you want. But in this episode, I want to help you. I want to give you some practical tools on how you can be prepared on your first date. But the first thing that I really want to elaborate on is you gotta know what you want. So many of y'all, especially women, as long as he fine, as long as he has money, I need you to go a little deeper, right? So I get it. If he has money, and this, I'm gonna give you this twist because I talked to somebody and she dated this guy. He had money, but what happened is she didn't find out how he got the money, and it wasn't nothing illegal. But what happened was he was gifted this money by somebody. Somebody looked out for him, gave him some money. He had crazy bread. But the thing about it is you want the guy with money, and I was sharing with her is you have to do your due diligence on the back end and start doing some research and understanding him. Because this is what happened. He had the money, but he didn't have discipline. So since he didn't have discipline, he blew all the money. You know, they went on trips. They went everywhere. They had a ball. But she thought that he was an entrepreneur. She thought that he was a savvy business guy, right? And come to find out, he just had a friend look out for him because for whatever reason, the friend dropped a crazy bag on him. Not no 5, 10, 20, 30,000, dropped a real bag on him. But since he didn't have discipline, he blew it. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about in this episode. The core reason of everything that I talk about, I think that the most important is knowing what you want. Because if you just go after a certain particular quality, they look good. She got a crazy body, right? Her sex game might be crazy. His sex game, he long. Like, you going off of things that really, it matters, but it doesn't matter, right? Because I'm gonna tell you this, you ask a big percentage of people that are in relationships that got into the relationship because she was cute, he was handsome, or he was endowed, or she had a crazy body. Ask them 10 years later, does those things that you got into a relationship with them, does it matter now? Do you care about those things now? And chances are they gonna say no. Why? Because there's other areas that are important. How disciplined are you with finances? How is your credit? What is your goals? What do you plan on doing? What do you want to do in life? How do you view yourself? Do you want kids? How do you view discipline? There's so many areas that you need to check. And I got you, because I know a lot of y'all are like, hold on, I can't be asking all that on the first date. Yes, you can. That's where you go wrong. Because you don't know how to build a conversation. I'm gonna tell you this. This is my first time sharing it. My mentor, David Shans, I rocks with dude. And one thing he says is everybody should have a podcast. Now, looking at this instance, I believe it 100%. The reason why, because when you have a podcast and you take it seriously and you love what you do and you want to communicate something effectively to people, what'll happen is it'll teach you how to have a conversation and how to build a conversation. Because when you get on this mic every single week, talking every single week, trying to come up with concepts, whether you drop one episode, I drop 3 episodes a week, right? So when you're consistent, you learn how to sketch out the skeleton of a great conversation. And I don't have to go to you and say, hey, how many kids do you want? When do you want to get married? You don't have to do that. Why? Because I'm such a conversationalist. I can ask you all those questions directly, but not ask them directly, if that makes sense. I can build the conversation around those topics. Listen, man, I was talking to my friend and they talking about they want 5 kids. That's crazy. 5 kids? How many kids do you want? Bam, there we go. I'm asking, check number 1. I asked you how many kids you want without asking you how many kids do you want. Right? I've learned how to sketch out the structure, the skeleton of a great conversation. You need to learn those tips. I'm not telling you to get in the podcast, but you should. But what I'm saying is you've got to learn how to sketch out great conversations so that you can find out all the information that you need. Too many of y'all go on relationships, y'all go on dates, and you get into a relationship and you haven't even asked the core questions that you need to ask. So let me do this because I'm running out of time. The biggest thing that I love to tell people that I want to start with you guys, discover what you want. Because when you don't discover what you want, you will be fishing for anything. And you'll be fishing for everything. Many of you ladies only want one thing. I want a guy with money and has stability. He can hold me down. I don't have to work. Cool. That's cool. But I like to tell ladies, look at my other episode. I like to tell ladies, get your own paper. right? Be independent, because if he leaves, then a lifestyle that he built, you don't have anymore. Now you're going back to ground zero, which is stupid. I hate when men tell their daughters, find a man that can take care of you. Cool. Let's find a man that can complement my purpose, period. So that's the number one that I really want you guys to, like, before you even decide to go on a date, that's the first thing that I really want you to grasp. What do I want? Because this is the thing, this is the key. When I know what I want, watch this, I won't just go after anything. Because watch this, when you know what you want and that thing that you want doesn't line up with what you want, you won't chase it. You be like, nah, I'm cool. You won't waste time. So when you know what you want, matter of fact, I might make this like a 10-part series. Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be the first day. First day, know what you want. How do I prepare for my first date? Part 1. I'm gonna do a 10-part series. That's what I'm gonna do. Thank you. See, look at that. See, look at that. Do you see how I structured the conversation right in front of y'all? That I'm dealing with that. Listen, know what you want, and the reason I want to do a 10-part series of this, because this is nothing that I want to just skim past and make another video. Like, really, for real, like. When you know what you want, you won't put up with anything. And this is the key too with knowing what you want. When you know what you want, you know what flags to look for, right? If I know I want a businesswoman, I need to find somebody that's disciplined in certain areas of her life. She doesn't have to be disciplined in every area, or he doesn't have to be disciplined in every area, but there's some discipline that has to go on. And once I see that you don't have discipline in a targeted area, I'm no longer interested. Why? Because I don't want to waste my time. I'm telling you this with the rawness. Why? Because when you don't know what you want and you waste time on somebody that's not beneficial to your future, watch this. You will cry many of nights later. And you're already in too deep. 10 kids later, 6 kids later, 4 kids later, 3 kids later, a mortgage later, cars later, debt later. Now you're looking like, dang, what was I thinking? But had you did what I told you to do, know what you want. And when you know what you want, you will go after that intentionally. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to go after with intentionality. Don't just go after because they cute. Don't just go after because we look good together, or well, she make me laugh, he make me laugh. It's deeper than that. Because there's going to come some times in your relationship, I can speak emphatically about this thing. There's going to be some times in your relationship where they don't make you laugh no more, no matter how funny they are. Because you would get into disagreements, arguments. There would be things that you guys just can't agree on. Period. So what you got to do is you got to dig deep, right? I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to mention their name, but I don't know him personally, but I've seen from afar a guy that he dated this woman. He married her and they got divorced, but she was gorgeous. I mean, drop dead gorgeous, right? Now, you know, women liked him too. He was a catch for women as well, right? However, I believe, this is just my opinion, I believe he spoke to the beauty aspect that he was attracted to. She spoke to that, right? She spoke to the beauty aspect, but I don't think that she spoke to the mental aspect of this guy. And this is why I'm trying to dismantle your understanding. Oh, she cute. Cuteness fades out and she's still bad. She's older now, but she's still bad. She's beautiful. But her beauty wasn't enough to hold his attention. So that's what you got to realize. How do I prepare for my first date? Before I even pick out the outfit, I'm going to go through all this. I might make a 20-part series, but right now it's going to be at a 10. Part 1. This is part 1. But out of everything, I need to know what I want. Because, like, as I said, I'm going to keep on reiterating this. When I don't know what I want, I chase anything. And when I chase anything, I'll get anything. And I'll regret my decision later. You'll build a house on Regret Boulevard. I promise you. Because you have to know what you want. And when you don't know what you want, you will find yourself frustrated. Because of where does frustration come from? Failed expectations. I set my expectations too high, but I did not do my homework. So now I have an imbalance. I'm gone. Listen, I got to save some for part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I love you guys to life. Listen, when you go on your first date, before you even asked her out, before you even say I do to him, not saying I do.
What's going on, family? I know that you're enjoying the episode, but I had to pause to ask you a quick question. Have you ever been through anything in life that was so life-altering that it changed your life forever? I mean, have you ever been and had a job and you lost that job? I mean, your dream job. You lost that job for whatever reason. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. You started a business and the business started off great and then it seemed as if it was going downhill. And now you're at a place, you lost your marriage, you lost your children, you lost some major things in your life. And now you're at a place in life where you're like, hey, this is the end of the road. I don't see it getting better. I got news for you. It will get better. And I wrote a book just for you. It's entitled Winning After a Major Loss. You need to go and get your copy. Go to barnesandnoble.com, go to amazon.com, get your copy right now. Winning After a Major Loss. I promise you, it's going to change the trajectory of your life. It's going to change your mindset. Most importantly, it's going to change your heart about your situation, because I promise you, you can win after a major loss. Go get your copy now. Barnes & Noble's, amazon.com. Order your copy now. Let's get back to the episode.
I will go out on a date with you before you decide to pick the restaurant, before you decide to pick your gear, before you decide to listen, I'm going to rent this car, trying to perform for her. That's another thing I'm going to talk about too, performance. But know what you want. And it's okay, ladies. If you meet a guy and he's attractive, but through simple conversation, you know it won't be a good fit, it's okay to take a rain check. Fellas, I don't care how bad she is. I'm going to talk about this as well. I don't care how bad she is. Watch this. Don't get sex involved prematurely. That's facts. Because when you get sex involved, especially if they have good sex, what'll happen is you will lose focus on what you really want in a woman. This area is so bomb that everything else don't even, she broke. It don't matter. This is good. Her credit horrible, but this is good. You will overlook everything because this one area is banging, and eventually you'll get tired of it. But if she do it right, you might not. Just saying. Know what you want, fellas. Ladies, know what you want. That's it. Know what direction you want your life to go. I'm out of here. I love you guys to life.
What's going on, family? I want to say thank you for rocking with us during this episode. We have been so excited to drop this episode. I'm glad that you made it to the end. This is what I want you to do. If you have any takeaways from this episode, leave it in the comments. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear how you feel. I want to bring content to you that's relevant to you, that'll help you change your life, because you already know our mission here at AOS Inspires, AOS the podcast, is to empower the world to never give up, one conversation at a time, one interview at a time, one video at a time, to help you live life at the next level. This is what I need you to do. I need you to like, subscribe, share this episode. If it spoke to your life, share this episode with somebody. Why? Because you are connected to some people that we're not connected with. And with that connection together, we can empower the world to never give up. I'm Mr. AOS Inspires. This is AOS the podcast. I can't wait to see you next week. Just in case you didn't know, we drop every single week, 3 times a week. Mondays, 8 a.m., Wednesdays, 8 a.m., and Fridays, 8 a.m. You need to catch an episode. Matter of fact, catch all 3 episodes. It's going to be fire. I promise you it's going to help you doing your everyday life. It's going to help you get to the next level. Let's go.